I should not be allowed to design decks anymore. Not after this one. How's it going, everybody? Hopefully you're having a wonderful Monday. Is it Monday? Oh god, it's Monday. Never mind. Nothing's wonderful anymore. You've had your morning coffee and you hate life as much as I do. Great. So if you hate life, then maybe you'll enjoy playing a deck that causes your opponents to hate life as well, as they feel like there's a ticking time bomb coming down, all the while you're laughing at them because your deck's not actually that strong, but the ticking time bomb is a Progenitus. Progenitus is a Wooburg and Wooburg 10/10 protection from anything creature that says if it would be put from the graveyard from anywhere, reveal it and shuffle into your library instead. Now, we will never, ever be putting this into our library, but the idea of having a 10/10 vanilla creature that cannot be blocked by anything is kind of hilarious, and I just wanted to go ahead and lean super heavy into that idea. So what are we even going to be doing with this deck? Well, I figured the best thing we could do is build a hodgepodge gate fetch domain style landfall-ish deck that will turbo out Progenitus as fast as possible. And, well, after that, it's all memes. Whatever happens after that is entirely on our opponents. If they block it, then cool, they blocked it, but they can't because it has protection from everything. So I guess their only option is to kill it, but not with targeted removal, specifically with destruction, board wipes, or mass sacrificing. So it's going to be kind of hard to do that. So let's go ahead and have a ticking time bomb ready to go in Progenitus. Let's first talk about how we're going to be even getting this monster online in the first place, because he costs a lot of mana, and the mana that we have to pay for him is very, very specific. So to make this happen, we are going to be running a Guild Gates deck, where we are running all of these lovely 2-color cards that cost barely anything, and we will be supplementing them with all of the other gates like Manor Gate, Citadel Gate, etc. We'll talk about those when we get to the land section of the deck. But by using these gates, we gain access to cards like Glaive of the Guild Pact, which can give a creature 1/0 for every gate we control, and then also gives the creature Menace and Vigilance. This can be used to give a creature that is not our commander the ability to start chipping away at our opponent's life points, even when we have not gotten Progenitus online. We also can use cards like Crackling Perimeter, which will be able to deal damage to all of our opponents by tapping our gates. We are also going to have to make sure that if any of our gates go to the graveyard, we are able to get them back. So cards like Paradise Lost, which can get all lands from your graveyard back to your hand, and a couple of non-land cards as well, is fantastic. Cards like Mending of Dominaria are also great. I'm using one in here because this card allows us to mill 2 and then get a creature from our grave back to our hand twice before putting all lands from our grave onto the battlefield. We'll also have a Soul of Windgrace, which will allow us to take our opponent's lands for a spin, but also allow us to have an outlet for our surplus of lands, as we are running a 45 land deck. He can also replay any of our lands that are in the graveyard. And this is probably the shortest we'll ever have the core strategy section, because it's going to kind of blend in with ramp and land fetching. That is going to be the most important part of the deck, and we'll get into that when we get into the land section of the deck. For now, though, let's go ahead and talk about draw power, so we can dig into all of our important game pieces. We're going to be running a 10-card draw package in this deck so that we can dig through as much as possible. Each of these cards either benefits from us having lots of land types, or benefits from us having a gate, or otherwise grabs us lands. So if we look at our cards here, we have Urban Evolution and Eureka Moment, which both allow us to draw multiple cards and then place extra lands onto the battlefield. These can be used to dig through our deck while also accelerating our commander out very, very quickly. Then for Domain, let's also add in cards like Nail Evizana Aeronaut. This card has Domain and says whenever it deals combat damage to a player, look at the top X cards of our library, where X is the number of basic land types we have, and put one of them on top of our library and the rest on the bottom in a random order. But if we have 5 basic land types, we then draw a card. This is a phenomenal card to give Glaive of the Guildpact to, as it has flying and can hit for a lot of damage while the glaive is attached to it. Another fantastic target for the glaive is Sphinx of Clear Skies, which has domain, effectively fact or fiction. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, then you reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is the amount of basic land types you have, and then an opponent separates those into piles, and you get exactly what fact or fiction normally does. Since we'll be having to get lots of lands on the battlefield as well, let's go ahead and throw in Tatyova to benefit from that, and a Joda's Codex. Both of these will allow us to draw cards at a very decent click as long as we are getting lands on the battlefield. And then we have Shadow Prophecy, which will let us look at the top 5 cards of our library if we have 5 basic land types out, put 2 of them in our hand, and the rest in the graveyard. Then for the cards that care about our gates, we have Gateway Sneak, which if it deals combat damage to a player, we get to draw a card, and if a gate enters the battlefield under our control, the Gateway Sneak can't be blocked this turn, which makes it another fantastic target for the Glaive of the Guildpact. Then we have Guild Summit, which draws us a card anytime a gate is put onto the battlefield, and it can draw us a card for every gate that is tapped whenever we play it as well. This card can get us very deep into our deck to get all kinds of useful, important game pieces. Then we have the Primeval Spawn, which is another fantastic target for the Glaive of the Guildpact. If it would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, it will automatically exile itself and then let you look at the top 10 cards of your library and cast a ton of spells off the top. But for us, we're just going to play it as a lieutenant to our commander. It'll come onto the battlefield, it'll get Glaive of the Guildpact, and it will hit for a lot of damage, life-linking all the way. And if they get rid of it, we get a lot of free casts as a result, making it very powerful pseudo-draw. That's it for every way our deck is going to draw through the deck, but we still have lots of other things to cover, so let's go ahead and get into how we're going to stop our opponents from winning the game, because we have such a slow game plan. We're going to be running an 8-card removal and interaction package, but that is going to be supplemented by a lot of board wipes. But let's get into each of these and why they are included. Death Sprout can blow up a creature and then get a basic land onto the battlefield, ramping into our commander. Broken Bond can blow up an artifact or enchantment and then give us a land onto the battlefield from our hand. Insidious Fungus can either blow up an artifact, enchantment, or get us a land. Wreck and Rebuild can blow up an artifact or enchantment or grab us a land, and we can even use Flashback to do it again if need be. Binding the Old Gods gets rid of any non-land permanent and then grabs us a forest out of the deck. And Windgrace's Judgment can be used to blow up any number of non-land permanents on the board. Well, not any number. It's 1 for every opponent, but I wish it was any number. The card costs a lot of mana, but it does a lot of work. We can use Negate as our single counterspell to stop problematic cards on the stack, and then we have a Territorial Kavu, which has a looting effect and an effect to get rid of problematic cards in people's graveyards, and it's another domain creature, so its power and toughness are based on the number of basic lands we have of different types. And while that may seem like a very light removal package, it is supplemented by a very heavy board wipes package, beginning with Gates Ablaze, dealing X damage to every creature, where X is the amount of gates we control. And because protection protects against damage specifically, Gates Ablaze will never be able to kill our own Progenitus. Planar Despair gives all creatures -1/-1 until end of turn for every basic land type we have, so usually -5/-5, also not killing our Progenitus. Drag to the Bottom does the same, but it's 1 plus the number of basic land types, so again, this won't kill our Progenitus. Time Wipe can return a creature from our board to our owner's to the owner's hand, then destroy all creatures. This does not target, so the Time Wipe can grab Progenitus to our hand. Crisis of Consciousness destroys all tokens or all non-land, non-token permanents. This can get rid of our Progenitus, but we will need as much ability to wipe the board clean as humanly possible, because our opponents are able to play a much faster game than us. Then we have the Iridian Maelstrom, which will blow up every creature that isn't all colors, which of course will not blow up our commander. And that does it for all of our removal options. Ideally, having about 14 cards in the deck dedicated to stopping your opponent's cards should be enough to buy us the time we need to get our big Hydra boy online. So now let's get to the real meat and potatoes of the deck. Let's talk about lands and ramp. And why you're watching a video with a pink cat talking to you about Magic the Gathering cards on a Monday. The most important ramp pieces in our deck are the gate fetchers, but they are not all of what we have available to us. But we do have 9 gate fetchers here that either ramp us or just get us gates onto the battlefield. So Open the Gates gets a gate from our deck to our hand. Sylvan Scrying can get any land from our deck to our hand. Navigation Orb gets 2 gates, 1 to our hand and 1 onto the battlefield. 9-Figure Keen punches people and then grabs a gate from the top 9 cards of our deck. Hour of Promise grabs 2 gates from our deck and puts them onto the battlefield. Explore the Underdark does the same and also gives us the initiative. Gatecreeper Vine searches our deck for a gate, puts it in our hand, as does District Guide. And Circuitous Root grabs 2 gates from our deck and puts them on the battlefield tapped. That is a lot of ramp, and not pseudo ramp. It's not all land fetching is ramp. Just a real quick thing. I'm going to quick PSA for everybody. If you are grabbing land from your deck and putting it in our hand, that is not ramp. That is just land fetch. It is like ramp in that it guarantees you land drops, but it's not ramp because you didn't accelerate your mana. So now let's talk about the cards that specifically accelerate our mana, and we have 16 of them. Grow from the Ashes gets a basic land onto the battlefield, and it has a kicker ability, so we can get 2 of them. Krosan Restorer lets us untap lands. It also lets us untap up to 3 target lands if there are 7 or more cards in our graveyard, giving us a massive boost to our mana. Greenside Watcher can untap gates specifically, which is a fantastic thing to do when we are trying to get our commander online. And Sage of the Maze can give us 2 mana in any combination of colors at all. It also has an ability where you can untap a land to make it a citizen, where X is twice the number of gates you control, so we can make a very big citizen to close out games as well. After this, we have Heaped Harvest to get a basic land from our deck twice, once when we play it and once when we sacrifice it. Explore and Growth Spiral and Progenitus all let us dig into our deck and then drop a land from our hand onto the battlefield, but Progenitus grabs it from the 4 cards you reveal, making it kind of stronger and kind of weaker than those cards. Rampant Growth is an all-time stable to grab a land from your deck onto the battlefield. Search for Tomorrow is a better Rampant Growth that grabs any basic land and puts it on the battlefield untapped, and also can be played on turn 1. Portent Tracker can be used to untap our lands or also do silly things with battles that we will always ignore. Wayfarer's Bauble can be used to get a basic land from our deck onto the battlefield. Migration Path and Explosive Vegetation both grab 2 lands and put them on the battlefield, and Cultivate grabs 2 lands and puts 1 onto the battlefield and 1 into our hand. And finally, Prismatic Geoscope comes into the battlefield tapped and has Domain, so it will give us X mana in any combination of colors, where X is the number of basic land types we control. If we have all 5 basic lands, we can tap this and generate 5 mana, basically guaranteeing that Progenitus will come online. And now for an absolutely massive land package. We are running 45 lands because we are very scared of running out of them. So we are running 3 of every basic land in the deck right now, as well as the fetching lands Blighted Woodland and Krosan Verge, because they can both increase our land count. Then we are running 20 of the available gates to us. These include all of the Guild Gates, Gruul, Gargari, Rakdos, Izzet, Orzhov, etc., Gateway Plaza, Heap Gate, Citadel Gate, Cliff Gate, Black Dragon Gate, Sea Gate, Manor Gate, and then finally Baldur's Gate and Gond Gate for the colored gates. Gond Gate can make all of our gates come to play untapped and is the first gate you should always be fetching for, and Baldur's Gate gives us lots of excess mana we can use to pay for increasing commander tax for Progenitus anytime it goes away. And finally, we have Basilisk Gate, which can be used to give a creature XX, where X is the number of gates we control. This is another good alternate way to win the game, as we can make any of our unblockable or flying creatures get huge and punch our opponents for dead. And then we have our multicolored lands. Wow, sorry, I can't speak today. Multicolored lands that are not gates. These are Murmuring Bosk, as it is a triome effectively. It's a forest that can tap for 3 different colors. We have the Tango lands of Sunken Hollow, Prairie Stream, Canopy Vista, Smoldering Marsh, and Cinder Glade. And then we have Command Tower and Exotic Orchard to tap for all the colors of the rainbow. That means that we should be able to get to all the colors of Progenitus, and we should be able to get to him very quickly, ideally by turn 5 or 6, which isn't the quickest, but it's a 10 mana commander. Cut me some breaks. But let's go ahead and quickly do a gameplay example to show you how to go through this deck, how to get Progenitus out as fast as humanly possible for $15. Honestly, a lot of hands in this deck will be keepable because half of the deck is ramp and half of the deck is lands. But looking at this opening hand, I'm actually pretty okay with what we've got here. A Selesnyan Guildgate gives us an opening gate we can play, and Growth Spiral, Progenitus, and honestly, just with those two, we're able to dig deep into our deck. I'm okay with this. So let's go ahead and drop Manor Gate on the battlefield first and make it tap for blue as its alternate color for turn 1. Moving into turn 2, we have an Exotic Orchard. So let's go ahead and play the Exotic Orchard, tap 2 mana, and we'll play the Growth Spiral to draw a card and drop the Selesnyan Guildgate on the battlefield. Moving into turn 3, we have the Insidious Fungus, so we are going to... we have the Gateway Sneak. We could use him, actually, very, very quickly, but maybe it's not the time to do that yet. Let's instead tap 1 and 2, and let's play Progenitus, and let's look at the top 4 cards of our deck and drop a land onto the battlefield. Gateway Plaza comes into the battlefield tapped, and we have to sacrifice it unless we pay 1. So let's go ahead and pay our Exotic Orchard. There are now 2 gates on the battlefield and 2 cards that are going or 3 cards that are going to the bottom of our deck. We'll also go ahead and play a Rakdos Guildgate down, and that ends our turn 3. We're at turn 4, and Black Dragon Gate is available to us. An opponent likely has played a problematic card, so let's go ahead and drop down our Black Dragon Gate, and let's tap 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's Death Sprout to get rid of an opponent's card, and let's tap 1 to get the Insidious Fungus on the battlefield. We'll grab an island by using that Death Sprout, and that puts us at turn 4, having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands available to us. We move into turn 5, and we have Drag to the bottom. Let's go ahead and play our land for turn. And we can't really wipe the board yet with this. The domain isn't going to do a lot for us. So we'll pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get Jodas Codex on the board. And we can't use it just yet because, again, we don't have the domain. So we'll tap 1, 2, 3 and get Getaway Sneak on the board. We are at 8 lands so far. We cannot get Progenitus down turn 6, unfortunately, since we didn't get one of our big gate fetchers. But we are very, very close. Moving into the next turn, and we have an island available for play. Let's go ahead and punch somebody with the Getaway Sneak to draw a card. There's our island. We'll play the island, tap 2. Let's go ahead and play the Rampant Growth. And what color do we need? We have 2 green. We have 2 black. This can tap for any color. This can tap for any color. We have 2 blue. We have... I guess it's either red or black that we need to be grabbing. No, we need white. White is what we need right now. Let's go into our library, and let's go ahead and grab a Plains. And now Progenitus will come down turn 7, and we have a little bit of extra ability to use the Jodas Codex. We can tap 1, 2, because we have 3 different types of lands. Jodas Codex will now allow us to draw a card. Boom. And that gives us a Heaped Harvest. You know what? 1, 2, 3. Let's go ahead and play that and sacrifice it, getting the other 2 land types that we need so that we can just have our domain available on full now. There. Now domain is online fully for our deck, so when we go into our subsequent turns, we will have easy access to Jodas Codex to draw us further into our deck with no problems whatsoever. Let's go ahead and tap black, green, white, blue, red. 1 more blue. We need red, which is here, black, which is here, green, which is here, and white can be over here. Progenitus is online. This is out and ready to tangle. Let's go ahead and tap 2. Let's sack the Insidious Fungus to blow up a problematic artifact or enchantment. Get that out of the way. And now we can politic with Progenitus. If somebody doesn't want Progenitus to hit them, they will let our Getaway Sneak hit them, drawing us another card. Now we move into our turn 8, and we have Jodas Codex out. We are golden. We can tap this to just draw us more cards. Play, let's see, Broken Bond. We can blow up an artifact or enchantment on the board. That will give us a Prairie Stream out. We can even play a Murmuring Bosk out. And let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'd like to wipe the board, but we're not in a position to do that yet. So we're going to swing with Progenitus. We're going to smack somebody in the face for 10, and then we're just going to pay 1, 2, 3, 4, and use this drag to the bottom, and we're going to get rid of all the creatures on the board. We lose our getaway sneak, but that's entirely fine. We move into our next turn. We'll tap Joda's Codex, draw another card, and there's a Prismatic Geoscope, which is effectively a free card for us because it costs 5, and it's gonna give us 5 mana when we use it. 1, 2, 3, 10. Let's see, is that 10 mana? We don't have 10 mana available yet. Actually, we do. Cinderglade. Boom. We can punch somebody with Progenitus, dealing 10 damage, and if people have established really big boards, we can just time wipe the entire board away, put Progenitus into our hand, and then tap these 10 lands and replay the Progenitus. We've wiped the board twice. Progenitus is out and able to continue doing work, just beating people down. And Joda's Codex is going to constantly give us access to more and more draw. We can also pay 1, 2, 3, play the Sage of the Maze out now, and now, until end of turn, we can make a land become an XX citizen, where X is our gate count, and our gate count right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, let's see, XX is twice our gate count. So now instead of hitting people for 10 a turn, we can hit people for 20 a turn because our Sage of the Mage is going to be able to grab us a land to punch people with. Actually, even bigger. Basilisk Gate is on board now. Joda's is going to draw us a card. That's a Planner Despair. That could wipe the board again. We're not really going to do that, though. Let's go ahead and tap the Sage, and we are going to make a 12/12 island and tap the Basilisk Gate and 2 mana, and we are going to make it an 18/18 island. Let's swing at somebody with the 10/10 Progenitus and the 18/18 island, and just keep on doing that every single turn. Also, we can untap a gate we control to untap the mage, and then just tap him again. Boom. He can make an army of gate. They're an army of gate creatures that are all massive and just punching our opponents in the face repeatedly. I need to find room for this guy in my my Niv Mizzet deck. It's time to update that deck. Wooburg is easy. Wooburg is the easy mode of Magic the Gathering. Just, it's nutty, the things you have access to. Oh boy. But what would you do if you wanted to upgrade the deck? Let's talk about that. If you're upgrading this deck, I would lean super heavily into the Wooburg aspects of the deck and the protection of Progenitus. So you can increase your just game plan's power by throwing things like Blasphemous Act in that deal lots of damage to all the creatures because Progenitus will be protected from that damage. Fist of the Suns can be used to discount Progenitus down by 5. You can also do this as well with Joda Archmage Eternal if you so choose. You can also add in some new lands in here. Plaza of Harmony so that you have another multi-typed mana source. Maze's End for an alternate win con, but I really hate Maze's End. I'm not a big fan of it. And if you're adding more gates into the deck, Thran Portal, of course, is out of our budget, but will still fit in here. Mirari's Wake can make playing Progenitus effectively go on easy mode if you have all 5 of your colors. Then Mirari's Wake will automatically let you cast Progenitus. Conflux can be used to search your library for all kinds of cards and then put them into your hand. We are a big mana deck. We can afford cards like this. Rhythm of the Wild will give our commander haste when it comes out because it doesn't target the commander. Maelstrom Archangel can give us free casts and another fitting area to throw our Glaive of the Guild Pact onto. And then we have cards like Unite the Coalition that give us tons of benefits for being a 5-color deck. Choose 5 of these modes: blowing up, phasing out a permanent, getting rid of a player's graveyard, drawing a card, 2 damage to any target, or getting an artifact or enchantment on the battlefield. Finest Hour can be used to let our Progenitus hit twice to easily kill people. It'll make the Progenitus swing for 11, by the way, so it swings for effectively 22 a turn, killing any opponent that we swing at. And Maelstrom Nexus can give all of our spells Cascade, which is Again, just easy mode. Imagine casting one ramp spell and cascading into another ramp spell and being able to do it on such a consistent basis that things just work out well for you. We got Progenitus out on turn 7 with a massive moat of mana to do whatever we wanted with afterwards after casting multiple board wipes. Just imagine being able to do that on repeat and way faster. Maelstrom Nexus can get you there. And that really does it for this absolute meme of a deck for Monday. Progenitus is an insanely powerful creature, and most people don't want to build him because he costs way too much mana and feels like, again, just kind of a meme. I think we can make the meme a real dream and harm people. And remember, the riot mechanic can be used to give Progenitus haste all the time. It's a no-brainer. It's easy. It will make it punch somebody in the face for borderline dead. But anyway, thank you for watching this much shorter video than normal. I appreciate it since I just got done voicing a massive video essay on the main channel. Whew. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, everybody, insert end of video tagline here. Hey, just wanted to give a quick thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who help keep me afloat and help keep this channel going. YouTube and Twitch are wonderful platforms, but at the end of the day, stability is not one of their strong suits. If you want to support my channel, then obviously Patreon is one of the best ways of doing that. Link is in the description. But I do want to personally thank everybody who has contributed to the channel. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Briskreek, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Autumn and Angel, Nixie Chan, Agamotto, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fire Shard. And everyone else who supports my channel and lets me do what I do full time. This is a dream job of mine that I never believed that I would be able to take full time, and with your help, I've been able to do it. So thank you so very much for that. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all enjoy, and I hope you all are having a wonderful time. I will see you all in the next one, hopefully.